What's up, YouTube? This is the Ugly American, and I'm coming to you from the Pacific coast of Lima, Peru. Okay, so today we are in Lima, Peru. We are right outside of Kennedy Park. The namesake is, of course, President John F. Kennedy. And there's a bust of him over here in the park, right over that way. There's some scenic buildings around here. I have got to say one thing about Lima, and this is coming from someone who has been in both traffic in Atlanta, in Los Angeles, in Saigon. The traffic here in Lima, Peru is absolutely the worst I have ever experienced in my entire life. It was horrible. And maybe it was the day we arrived, maybe it just had something to do with something going on in the city. I'm not really sure, but it was absolutely unbearable. It took a total of an hour and a half to go basically 12 miles, or 20 kilometers, somewhere around there. It was absolutely awful. It really took away from some of the finer points of the city. Yesterday we were downtown in Plaza Mayor, and we had a wonderful dinner in Casa de Aliaga, which is the oldest home in the Americas. I'm gonna put up some photographs and some videos from that. Really, really wonderful dinner and really wonderful time there. But the drive just completely robbed all the joy out of it, because it was, first of all, it was rough. The roads were really rough. Traffic was really, really, really rough. And there was just an incredibly difficult time getting to and from. And especially since my traveling companion does suffer from motion sickness. So that wasn't the greatest thing either. Having to deal with motion sickness, especially having eaten a big dinner, isn't the greatest of situations. Now, in this Park Kennedy, one of the interesting things, which I'm going to show you here in a second, is that there are a bunch of cats here. And the cats are taken care of by the local community, and they're very friendly. They're completely tame, but they're all throughout the park. And there are some kids over here feeding some right behind me. But I will try to find one that I can get a good close-up shot of, and you'll see that they're living right here in the middle of this urban area, and they stay pretty much inside the park here, and they are taken care of. They get veterinary care and food and water, and they're really friendly. In fact, here's one right here. Hey, buddy. Hey, how you doing, buddy? Kitty, kitty, you eating some food? See? Now, I may or may not make my way over to the Indian market. I haven't quite made up my mind just yet. I'm a good ways from the city center, being over here in Kennedy Park. So for here, it's either a choice of going back into the city center via taxi cab, or walking over to the shore, where there is a long boardwalk that runs along over the Pacific Ocean. Yeah, it's been a heck of a 2 days. I'll say that, though. It really has. That bus ride almost made me not want to come back into town today, because it was so brutal. I can't not overemphasize how bad that was. But you know, I came here by myself today. Today, I have to say, it really wasn't as bad. We rode on a freeway today as opposed to riding through the city, and that made a lot of difference in how long it took to get down here. It was still about an hour instead of an hour and a half. A relatively long time to travel, only about 12 miles, but it was certainly much better, and there was a lot less stop and go and a lot less of the rough roads. Lima can trace its roots all the way back to 1535 and Spanish conquistador Francisco Pizarro, who founded the city. He chose it because of its proximity to the Pacific, the fact that there was abundant farmland and abundant firewood. So 3 good things to have at that time, I'm sure. Overall, it's quite nice, especially the tourist areas. Now, certainly some of the surrounding areas are not quite as nice, but that's not where you're going to spend your time if you come here anyway. At least I kind of doubt it. Kennedy Park is really pretty. It's got some nice public artwork and some wonderfully well-kept flower beds, and of course the kitty cats. But I'm going to go ahead and make my way down to the beach right now, or at least the beachfront. There's a boardwalk that runs along over the ocean down there that's supposed to be quite scenic. It's about 8/10 of a mile, a little bit less than that from here. So I'll walk myself down there and get some shots over the Pacific. It's kind of overcast today, but it's keeping the temperatures relatively cool. So as long as it stays that way, I think it'll be relatively pleasant. And the humidity's not too high either right now, so there's a lot of people out and about. So middle of the day, this part of the city, they say, is fairly safe, and I don't feel threatened at all here right now, but it's certainly a place I'm sure you got to keep a lookout and keep your eyes open. But I think one of the things that was done yesterday, and this is just a speculation, but I believe that there's a possibility that the reason that the bus ride yesterday was so bad was because they elected to take us around some of the poorer quarters of the city. I noticed that today when we went along the freeway, it was a lot more direct, but it went through some areas that were not nearly as nice as the areas that we drove through yesterday on the way into town, which was a more circuitous route, but I think that's probably what was going on. It was a tour company that took us yesterday, and today it was simply a cruise-sponsored shuttle bus that ran us into town. So that was probably the reasoning behind that, although it made the ride absolutely miserable because of it. But, you know, it is what it is. That's why I'm on my own today. So I'll find my way down to the beach, and then I'll follow up when I get down there. So horrendous traffic aside, there are really some breathtaking sights here in Lima, Peru. Overall, the people have been really nice, and the city is pretty much what you'd expect. It has a beautiful downtown area that is surrounded by some less beautiful areas. Some areas of highly affluent folks, and some areas where people don't have a pot to piss in, literally. So there's quite a difference depending on where you're at in the city. In fact, you're told by some of the guides that if you want to go from one district to another, depending on where you're at, you definitely want to rely on a taxi as opposed to, say, trying to hoof it on foot, because you might go through some rather questionable areas, or some areas where, yeah, you might actually be in some danger. I haven't felt any of that myself, but I haven't strayed too far away from the tourist district just yet, and I don't know that I actually will. For right now, I'm in Miraflores, walking along the boardwalk overlooking the ocean, and it's an overcast day, but it's still quite nice. At least it's not hot, which is more than I can say for some of the places that we've been so far. And I expect that the temperatures will continue to go down as we go further and further south. Today it's probably around 70 degrees, and the humidity is relatively low, so it's not too bad right now. And there's some fog coming in off the ocean. You might be able to see it in behind me here, kind of covering some of those mountains in the distance. It's not particularly dense right now, but who knows, maybe later. I think later they actually forecast for a little bit of rain, so we shall see. It was kind of difficult getting down here from Kennedy Park because some of the normal routes that you would have for foot traffic are being worked on right now, so there's a lot of construction going on. so I kind of had to pick my way across some of the busier streets to make it down here. But there seems to be a good mix of people. I've seen quite a few people from the boat who are able to be picked out by the sticker affixed to their shirts showing which tour group they're in. So there's quite a few people from our ship, and I think they're all from our ship because I didn't notice any other cruise ships in the harbor right now. The harbor here is completely an industrial port, and it is a long way from downtown. It's in an area called Callao, which, well, I say it's a long way. It's actually only about 12 miles or so from the main tourist area, but because of the heavy traffic and the narrow streets and the density of the population, it is a haul to get here from that part of the city. So be ready for it. They were nice enough to give us a heads up in a little newsletter telling us it was about 75 minutes from the boat to the tourist area downtown. But until you ride it, I don't think you know quite what to expect. It was pretty brutal. Now, I'm here on my own today because my traveling partner got quite sick yesterday during our travels on the bus. So I'm doing it by myself, simply because motion sickness is not something you want to experience. And she had a very rough time yesterday. So right now I am going to find my way back up towards Kennedy Park and the Indian Market. And once I get up there, I'll probably get some footage from inside the market. It's not quite as grand as I expected. Kind of expected it to be a bit like some of the markets in Asia. It's not really like that, but I will say that the quality of the goods seems to be a fair bit higher than what you might find in some of the markets, say in places like Siem Reap or Chiang Mai. But the overall size of the market, no, it's not particularly large. I'd say it's probably less than half a block wide in its entirety. But it's well done, it's well laid out, and it does have nice clean bathrooms, which is always a plus when you're in an area that you're not so familiar with. Alright, so now it comes time to talk about what I should pick up while I'm here in Peru, if I pick up anything at all. So in Panama, of course, it was the ubiquitous Panama hat. And here in Peru, I would assume it would be something made from alpaca wool. Perhaps a sweater or something like that. But as to what I'm going to get, I'm not really sure yet. In Panama, I did not get the Panama hat. I ended up buying instead a embroidered shirt that simply said Panama on it and had a sailing ship embroidered over one of the pockets on the left side. It's a nice shirt, and I'm sure I will wear it, so that's a good thing too. I mean, you don't want to buy something and not wear it or not use it. So if I do buy something here, it will be something that I will wear later on in the trip. And since it might be colder on the southern tier of this trip, I'm thinking that an alpaca wool sweater might not be a bad choice. But we'll have to see. And I'm not even sure if I really should buy it in the Indian market. My guess is that if I buy it there, I'm going to be paying a premium or a relatively high markup at the very least. So we'll have to see. When I get over there, I'll check and see what the prices are and see if they're even approaching anything reasonable. And who knows, maybe you can bargain here and barter like you can in Southeast Asia. I don't know. That's not... it's not always looked upon kindly. In some places it's expected, and in other places it's considered kind of rude. I'm not sure what the culture is here in Peru, but once I get over there, we'll give it a look. I might not even find anything I like, actually, but or that fits me. I'm not huge. I think I'm pretty much average size. I'm probably just about 6 feet tall and 190 pounds, but sometimes In some countries, it's difficult to find my size. In Southeast Asia, I wear an extra, extra, extra large, which is kind of funny to me considering that in the States, I generally wear a large. And so we shall see what we're able to find. It's going to take me probably about 20 minutes to walk back up there. And after I do that, I'll probably head back to the boat. I'm not super keen on finding a taxi and trying to find my way back into the center of town right now. But I'll take some shots as I walk along the area here that leads down to the Miraflores waterfront as well. So shopping is complete, and what did I end up getting? Well, I ended up buying an alpaca scarf. Not for myself, although I guess I could use it as well. It's sort of a neutral color, so but I did. I got a pretty alpaca scarf. I don't think I got taken to the cleaners, but who knows? I paid about 25 bucks for a wool scarf. You guys can tell me down in the comments if that was a good deal or if I got the tourist price. Right now I'm on my way back to the bus. Once I get back there, it's about an hour back to the ship. I think I might take a walk through the Indian market though before I get on the bus and get some footage from inside. Give you guys an idea of what the market has to offer as far as goods and wares, and then I will bid my adieu to the city of Lima, Peru.